Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and happy 2022. This is the first video that I am filming in 2022. I put out a video obviously this year already, but feels good to be back in the saddle, baby. I'm so excited to be here. And it is the end of a very long Thursday. And so I'm just happy to sit down and talk about makeup with you guys. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're old to my channel, also welcome. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you old. My bad. Anyways, today we are here for yet another review of the Jaclyn Cosmetics complexion line that just released. And I know there are about 1 million reviews out there at this point. Every opinion is probably out there somewhere, but I wanted to take my time with the products. I've had them for a little under a week. I think I've had them for 5 days now. I've had the time to digest my thoughts and my feelings with these. This is going to be a little bit of a different approach to a review. So let me know in the comments if you like this sort of approach or if you prefer I do my reviews the way that I always do them. I am excited to review these products and share my thoughts with you because there have been a lot of first take reviews out there that I just don't think are giving you the full picture. And for the sake of this review, I did do a comparison between the Jaclyn Cosmetics and the Fenty Beauty Skin Tint because I think there's a lot of value in seeing how these products compare. Does one wear better than the other? They're in the same kind of price point and they both claim to have the same blurring and perfecting qualities. So I wanted to put them to the test and see how the Jaclyn Cosmetics measured up to one of my favorite skin tints, the Fenty Beauty. I would like to just share with you kind of every experience that I've had with these products over the last 5 days. 5 days? 6 days. It's been 6 days. Over the last 6 days with these products. So if that's something that you're interested in, let's hang out. So the two products that we'll be reviewing today are the Jaclyn Cosmetics Skin Tint and the concealer. So I did buy both. I only bought one shade of each and I managed to buy the right shade for my skin. Woo! So we took some risks, but it paid off. And frankly, I'm just kind of over buying multiple shades of things. I'm really trying to pare back my consumption. So I was very pleased when these turned out to be the right shade for me. Let's talk first about the skin tint. So I have worn this every single day over the last 6 days, and I have a lot of thoughts about this. And honestly, most of them are pretty positive. Overall, I really like this product. Do I think that it is a game changer? No. Do I think this is going to replace anything that you're already using? Probably not. Unless you're out of your go-to skin tint and you're looking to try something new, in which case I would recommend this product. I have a very popular video on my channel where I compare two skin tints on the market, the Morphe and the Fenty. And those are two favorites of mine. They're both really, really great products. And I think this measures up to both of them, but it does differ in some ways. The biggest way this product differs is in fragrance. This product has a fragrance and it's nice and kind of floral. I like it. It smells very much like the KKW perfume that comes in like the crystal bottle. It's got like kind of a gardenia smell and it does smell like a little bit old lady, but not so much that it bothers me. I honestly like the fragrance and it doesn't stick around. I know other people have had different experiences, but for me, I put it on and I was like, that is a fragrance. But by the time I was done doing my makeup, and really by the time I was just doing my complexion makeup, I couldn't smell it anymore. It's not that big a deal and it really hasn't irritated my skin so far. But if you're sensitive to fragrance, it might just be something that you want to look out for. The next thing that sets this product apart is the texture. So the texture is very different. I'll show you on my hand here. You can see that for a skin tint, it's quite thick and it has almost a whipped texture. So you'll see it also has quite a bit of pigment, which is kind of unlike a lot of the other skin tints that I've used, which have less pigment and are much more liquidy. Like the Morphe one is super, super liquidy. This is thicker than the Morphe and the Fenty, which I would say like in terms of thinness and thickness, it's Morphe, Fenty, and then the Jaclyn one. This is the thickest skin tint that I personally have ever used. It's very similar to my Dr. Jart BB cream texture, but it's a little bit more whipped. And so you'll see, I just blended it into my skin And you'll see here that it is definitely blurring, and it definitely has pigment. You can kind of see where the skin tint starts and stops on my knuckle, but you'll also see that all of my freckles and the redness that I have in my hand have definitely been blurred and covered. This product does exactly what it says it's going to do literally on the bottle. It says skin perfecting blurring tint. I would say that this does all of those things. I would also say that I have used it both with and without a primer, and I think it actually works a little bit better without a primer. Today, I tried it with just my moisturizer and my sunscreen, and the product really applied well. When I tried it with my Hydrogrip primer, which is my normal go-to primer, it laid fine, but it did kind of get a little bit more difficult to blend out. So it's just something to be aware of. It's not that it didn't blend, I'm just not sure you need a primer with this. And I believe in some of the advertising, they actually mention that this can be used basically as a primer. I do wonder if I were to put it under my other makeup as a primer, like how it would lay. And there's like a sick part of me that really wants to find out. I got shade Fair because I have pink undertones and I am very, very pale, as you guys can tell. That was the right shade for me. But as with most skin tints, I tend to be in the camp of you really don't need that many shades because it's so thin. It has such a light coverage that it's really going to sheer out. And I think getting your exact match is probably just not as big a priority as it would be if this were a full coverage product. I have experimented with applying this product both with your hands as well as with a brush. I definitely recommend just using your hands. It definitely helps warm the product and helps press it into the skin, but a brush works just as well. I just tend to think that some of these thinner products, just like using the tools that God gave you, really do work well. Today I did a wear test along with a product comparison with the Fenty Beauty skin tint because I really wanted to see if there was a meaningful difference and also to see if some of the things that I've been experiencing with the Jaclyn Cosmetics product translated over to other skin tints. There have been a lot of criticisms of this product being very radiant, of wearing off, of not being consistent, of being too dewy. And so for me, I was like having a good experience with the product, but I have enough experience with skin tints that I was like, let's put it to the test. This is one of the best ones in the market. I want to test it against the Fenty Beauty one. So on this half of my face today, I am wearing the Jaclyn Cosmetics skin tint. And on this half of my face, I am wearing the Fenty Beauty skin tint. And you tell me, can you see a difference? Because I can't. I am being dead honest. I haven't touched up anything except for my lipstick today. And I have been wearing this makeup for about 10.5 hours. That's a really long time. And usually I stretch my makeup out to like the 12 to 13 hour range. So I'm not quite ready to take this makeup off yet, but it's been on for quite a while. And as an oily person, that's a long time to be wearing makeup without having touched it up. And I did that mainly so that I could test how dewy, and by dewy I mean greasy, I was going to look by the end of the day. I really wanted to understand what the effects were going to be and how these two products compared. I also wanted to compare if they wore off differently, if they laid differently, if there was just any meaningful difference. And honestly, my entire experience has been no, there really isn't. Okay guys, so I have completed my makeup and I have been wearing it for about an hour or so, and I haven't touched up or done really anything. Ugh. The hair. Sorry, I'm in my bathroom, so it's probably really echoey. Also, like, I installed a new toilet seat like yesterday by myself, and I installed it by myself. Anyways, so I wanted to show you what my face is looking like. This is the Jaclyn Hill side, and this is the Fenty side. So I'm really liking today's makeup. I think it looks really natural and pretty. Definitely have very similar coverage. It's very light. It seems to be wearing very, very similarly. Honestly, I can't tell any sort of distance. I'm gonna pull back this curtain. It's gonna brighten up. Whew. So this is just natural light. There's not a light on in the bathroom or anything. I just wanna get you up close. So far, everything is looking pretty good. You can see a little bit of my broken skin barrier right there. You can see all my freckles, which I really like. And over on this side is Fenty. One thing I don't like is how the concealer is wearing on my nose today. I think it's doing a nice job of highlighting it, but if you get up close, it looks like it's kind of like laying weird. And you can definitely see where the concealer stops and where the skin tint starts. But that's just what my skin is like. And under the eye, you can see there is a little bit of creasing, but it's more like, it's not creasing, it's just emphasizing kind of my wrinkles. Because if I do that, you can see it's not really creasing. It's not emphasizing the wrinkles too badly, honestly. I think it's just looking like my natural skin. And it's laying pretty nicely here so far. This is usually a problem area. We'll check that as the day goes on because really that's where I usually get a lot of product breaking it up because I get super oily right there. So we'll check in on that a little bit later. And honestly, I'm liking this so far. I think the thing I like the least is that you can tell the difference between where the concealer stops and where the skin tint starts. And it's because they have different levels of coverage. And I talked a little bit about this earlier, but I don't like when you can tell the difference. And that's why I usually will use something that's a little bit more thin or medium coverage when I'm using a foundation or a skin tint that doesn't have as much coverage. That's just a personal preference, but everything's looking good so far. I'm gonna go do my job, go take meetings, and I will check in with you in a couple of hours. So having done that check-in and showing you the real tea, turning down the brightness so you can see all the things that are going on with my face, I think you can see that the Jaclyn Cosmetics skin tint really compares with the Fenty Beauty. There was no meaningful difference, honestly, in how they wore, in the amount of coverage that I got, in the wear time. There really wasn't a difference. I think that they are both incredible products for a skin tint. I think they do exactly what they're intended to do. And I think that this is a good product. I'm not experiencing a lot of the problems that I'm hearing other people express in their reviews about it sitting weird on their face or looking weird over their pores. I'm just not experiencing that. And I do wonder if something has to do with their moisturizer, their primer. I do use a water-based moisturizer as well as a silicone sunscreen, and I didn't use a primer, and honestly it's wearing really, really nicely. Now, would I recommend touching up? Abso-fucking-lutely I would. You should definitely be powdering, especially if you're oily like me, but that's literally with any makeup any day. That isn't specific to this product. Hello. This makeup has been... Shut up, computer. This makeup has been on for about 7 hours. I have since eaten, reapplied my lipstick, but that is not why we are here. So let's check in on the progress. Definitely liking the way my makeup is looking, at least from this far away. It is clearly a little bit more dewy, which makes sense because I did this makeup 7 hours ago and I'm an oily hoe. So naturally my makeup is gonna look more and more dewy as the day goes on. But from here, honestly, like I would go out in public and not touch this up and feel pretty confident, but let's get a closer look. All right, so like I said, this is the highlighter that I have on, but overall, this makeup is looking much dewier. This is the Jaclyn Hill side. This is the Fenty side. Now, to me, they're looking equally dewy. There is some breakup around my mouth because I haven't touched it up, and I didn't touch it up after I ate, and I ate a tuna melt, so definitely had some breakup around the mouth, but something that I intentionally left because I just wanted to see how this was going to wear without touching it. I do get oily right here, which is kind of weird, and it is definitely getting shiny, and I get oily here, which you can definitely see. You can definitely see some of that, but overall, both are wearing basically exactly the same. Can you tell a difference? Because I really can't. I mean, so far so good, and both sides looking literally exactly the same. Maybe a little bit dewier over here, but just a little. So to give you a close-up at the end of the day, this makeup having been on for over 10 hours, just wanted to do a close-up check-in and show you how my skin was looking. Now remember, I've only touched up my lipstick, and frankly, I did not touch it up like that well. So let's go down to the chin first, because this is usually where makeup really breaks up for me. You'll see it's wearing off a little here. Here, I feel like I'm going to lower the brightness so you can see. You can really see that there is some breaking up going on here. I think that's more the concealer, honestly. But that's honestly pretty common for me. Now with the brightness down, you can really see the true tea with my skin here. And I feel like this is actually a better representation than if I do that. See, oh my gosh, now I look basically perfect, although still very, very oily. But I'm going to turn down that brightness here so you can really see how dewy I am on both sides. This is like what I'm like if I don't like touch up and powder my face. You can see here a lot of oil, but it's on both sides. You can see a lot here. Don't get confused. That's the highlighter. You can see here on my nose, my T-zone. So that's the Fenty side, and that's the Jaclyn side. And honestly, guys, I can't tell a difference. I think they look exactly the same. Very even. Let's bring that brightness back up. That was terrifying. Overall, it's looking good for not having touched up at all for 10 hours. And it's holding up pretty well. So, you know, as far as skin tints go, on my skin, on my oily ass, not bad. Okay, I just touched up with a little bit of translucent powder, and I wanted to show you the difference. Can you already tell how much better this looks? This is why we touch up, people. And even turning down the brightness, see how much better it looks? Just wanted to follow up. If you do touch it up, it still looks great. Overall, would I recommend this? Yeah, I would. Do I think that it's a game changer? No. Do I think that it is a solid product? Absolutely. I think that I would probably repurchase it, assuming that I work through the other skin tints that I have as well. And I need so little. I literally need like a fingernail's worth, like my pinky fingernail. That's all I need really to cover my entire face. And so I don't think I'm going to run out for a while, but I definitely would repurchase it if I were looking for another skin tint. I do like this product. I really like the packaging. I think it's really beautiful. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't in a glass bottle, but none of Jaclyn's products have really been in glass, and that's not really the type of brand that they are, but they do make really nice, really beautiful, aesthetically pleasing package. And I got so distracted by saying the word aesthetically that I just forgot what I was saying. They make really aesthetically pleasing packaging, and I like that all of her packaging matches. So across all of her lines, all of her packaging looks really beautiful. And if you wanted to display it, you could totally display it and it would look beautiful on your vanity. Now, let's talk about the concealer. Okay, I'm struggling with where to start because I have a lot of mixed feelings. I'm going to tell you straight out the gate that the concealer, I've got a lot of mixed feelings. You guys already saw in my final check-in that my chin is looking rough. It is looking rough, okay? It is wearing off. It's not looking really smooth or patchy. It's also, I want to say, pretty normal for me, especially when I'm using a full coverage, very thick concealer. I get a very same reaction with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, which is a very thick concealer as well. If the concealer I'm using is really, really thick and really full coverage, I just find that it is a little bit harder to blend. It doesn't really wear as well. It has a tendency to bunch up. Honestly, the way that this performed is very, very similar to the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, which is a concealer that I like, but it's definitely very thick and has kind of this habit of looking weird on my chin or around my nose after a while. It kind of just starts to separate a little bit and just look textured. And I really don't know why, but I don't have that experience with thinner formulas or formulas that are a little bit more emollient. I don't know if emollient is the right word, but my Wet n Wild Incognito concealer, my Makeup Revolution concealer, those don't really do what the Jaclyn Cosmetics and the e.l.f. concealer do, which when you try to apply the product, it's definitely very, very thick, and you can't really just put concealer all over your face where you want it blended out and then go in and blend it out. You can't leave this concealer sitting on your face at all. As soon as it touches your skin, you better blend that bitch. So what I ended up doing is I actually ended up just putting it on my chin, blending it out. Putting it on my nose, blend it out. Put it on my forehead, blend it out. One eye, blend it out, set. Other eye, blend it out, set. You literally have to do it in small increments like that, because if you put it all over your face and then go try to blend it in one area at a time, this concealer sets so fast and is so thick that it will just get stuck. And that's where it is, and it is incredibly hard to blend. So that's the first thing you have to know about this concealer is put it on an area, blend it out. If you follow that direction, it's beautiful. It's a really great high coverage concealer. I personally really like it. I really love this shade. It's absolutely perfect for my skin, and I really like the coverage level. It did a really great job overall of not creasing a ton under my eyes, which I have 32-year-old woman eyes. I definitely have some wrinkles under my eyes, and it didn't necessarily hide all the wrinkles, but it didn't make my eyes look as crinkly or as wrinkled as some of my other concealers, honestly. I did feel like this product did a really great job of hiding some of that and blurring it out. It didn't completely blur everything, but I definitely do feel like it made me look slightly younger. It also performed really well with the Jaclyn Hill powders. I did set my entire face with Jaclyn Hill powders, and most of the makeup I'm wearing today is Jaclyn Hill, just because I wanted to try them all together and see how they worked, which is well. But I did also set them with the Jaclyn Hill under eye setting powders, and they performed really, really well together. The sooner you can blend it out, the sooner you can set it, the better. If you leave it sitting there and you don't blend it out right away, you are going to get funky texture. You are going to get an uneven blend. You're also going to get kind of a harsh line and harsh difference between the under eye and the rest of your face. You know what I'm talking about, where you see like a texture change right around here if you wait too long to blend it. The other thing you need to do is take your finger and gently just pat the edge so that it really melts into the skin. I had a really good experience doing that. With all of that said, I don't like these two products together. And here's why. I think if you're using a very low coverage foundation or base, you shouldn't be using a full coverage concealer, generally. Maybe just under your eyes, but not all over the face. And I feel this way because you then have different coverages all over your face. And I think that it makes for a really poor blending experience, and it doesn't make your skin look even close to natural or real. It just ends up looking super patchy and inconsistent. For example, you'll be able to see that I have a full coverage chin and a full coverage T-zone right here, but then you can see all my freckles around here and all of my freckles and my imperfections on my cheeks. But if you look in the areas where there's concealer, it's like full coverage. And it just looks patchy, and I don't like it. I like to use a light or a medium coverage concealer when I'm using a light or medium coverage base. That's just me. So I was a little confused that these got released at the same time, just because I don't think that these go together well. The other thing is, when you're using different coverages in your base and in your concealer, it is just harder to blend it out and make it look seamless and make it look like skin. And the point of using a skin tint like this is so that it looks like skin, you know? And if you're using something that's full coverage, I'm sorry, it's not really gonna look like skin. It's gonna look like makeup, which is okay. I love to look like I wear makeup. I put a lot of work into my makeup, but they're just aiming for two different types of looks. So I actually prefer using this concealer with one of my higher coverage foundations. There is a slight fragrance to the concealer. It's not as heavy as the skin tint, but there is a little bit of a scent. It's really not really noticeable. And one thing I really like about it is the doe foot. There really isn't like a rocket science to the doe foot, honestly. It's a regular doe foot, but I like the size of it, it's really great for getting in those small areas, and it picks up just the right amount of concealer. I feel like there are other concealers where their doe fit is too big, it picks up way too much product, and then you can't target the area very well. I feel like this doe foot is one of the best in the game. I really like that about it. And again, I love the packaging. I think that it is beautiful. It matches all of her other products. I think it's stunning. I also, when I was using this product, I tried to use several different tools to figure out what works best with this concealer. And my experience was basically that any tool will work kind of the same. I always prefer to use a brush for my concealer. That's just what I'm like, and I'm too lazy to go wet my beauty blender most days. So generally I'm using a brush or my fingers. And I think fingers did a really great job. Honestly, with something like this, it's going to be a little bit thicker. Fingers tend to do a really good job, especially as you age and you're trying to hide wrinkles or, you know, really get things blended in and looking like skin. So I would say you're probably better off using your fingers along with another tool. That's really what I did, but I don't know that it really made a difference what tool I used. As long as I went in at the very end and used a finger to press it in and blend out the edges just slightly so that it looked a little bit more seamless. Will I repurchase the concealer? That is a good question. And the answer is, I'm not sure. This is definitely one of the more expensive concealers I've ever bought. I am not a high-end concealer user at this time. I very much prefer my drugstore concealers. And I don't know. I really don't know if I'm going to repurchase this. I think it's good. I don't know that it's game-changing. Would I tell someone else to run out and buy it? Probably not. There are other less expensive options that I think do kind of a better, easier job. They're just easier to work with and have easier application. But would I discourage someone from buying it? Again, it really just depends on the person. I don't think that the price point is worth what you're getting, but is it a bad product? No. The last thing I'll say about the concealer is that it is sold as a self-setting concealer, and that's likely why it's so thick and why you have to work with it so quickly, because it really does set itself. I will say that I still prefer to lightly set the under eye with those Jaclyn Hill setting powders. I thought they looked really nice and really, really brightening. There's a ton of brightening. There's a ton of coverage. I mean, really, look at my under eyes. Like, they're super brightened. They look great. There's high coverage. You can't really see the purple underneath my eyes. And it's not really emphasizing my wrinkles as much as some other products do. So I definitely recommend the concealer along with the Jaclyn Hill under eye, the pressed powder, not the loose powder. The loose powder is crap. The pressed powder is amazing. I want to be very clear about that. Go see my video if you have questions on it. I'll link it up here. I would recommend it for brightening. Honestly, Jaclyn Hill is the queen of brightening. And those products together worked really, really well. And I do not recommend just putting this concealer down and not setting it under the eye. I think everywhere else you'd probably be fine, but under the eye, I think you're just better off. Just set it. Just set your damn face. It's fine. Overall, do I think these products are game-changing? No. Are these the best products that Jaclyn has ever come out with? Also no. Are they bad products? Also no. They are decent products. They are good. If you like Jaclyn Hill, if you like her brand, I would say that you'd be safe going out and purchasing these products, especially the skin tint. I feel like that is a really solid addition to her line, and I feel like I'm going to be reaching for it a lot in the spring and summer. I think that there's a lot of criticism out there about these products right now, and I definitely don't want to tell those people that they are wrong for having those opinions or that their experience is not valid. I think that everybody uses different skincare and has different needs from their products, and there are a lot of people out there that are using different primers and things like that. And I think that their experience is valid. Their experience is definitely not mine. My experience was solidly moderate, not great, not terrible, just solidly moderate. These are good products, and I'm happy to add them to my collection. If you're interested in trying them, I would say go for it. I recommend it. But I hope that this review has been helpful in making your shopping decisions. With all of that said, guys, thank you so much for being here. This has been a really fun experiment. I hope that this was beneficial and that you learned something today. But more importantly, it just means so much to me that you're here. I love making these videos. I hope you enjoy watching them as much as I enjoy making them. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new, hi, my name is Katey Unfiltered, and I'm on my channel just talking about the things that I love, makeup, movies, whatever it is that's capturing my interest. I'm going to give you my unfiltered take here on this channel, so if you're new, consider subscribing. Join the Unfiltered fam. Don't forget to like and share this video, and again, guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.